This is N are becoming smart, which at first glance seems like a simple Roblox game. Talk to some NPCs, help them with tasks. This is everything dumb I did as a YouTuber this year. I met my YouTuber friends for the first time, then got them to punch me in the stomach. I was in a Mr. Beast video. This is everything dumb I did as a YouTuber this year. I met my YouTuber friends for the first time, then got them to punch me in the stomach. I was in a Mr. Beast video, but for 2 seconds, I accidentally made some random Roblox kid get 500,000 subscribers. Shout out, Tim. I tried a 1 million Scoville hot sauce and almost died. I live streamed myself playing Roblox hobbies for 167 hours straight just to go bold. I became an official professional voice actor of a drug dealer. I hosted an official Roblox event called the Creator Showdown. I became 2 video game Easter eggs. I made my first Roblox game that was just flipping a coin, peaking at over 6,000 players. I started 2 new channels, Spot Hat and Squareheads. And most importantly, I got to make videos for you guys and make a bunch of you smile. Thank you for an amazing 2025. I hope you all have an amazing 2026. Subscribe. This is everything dumb I did as a YouTuber. This is every dumb thing I did as a YouTuber this year. I ate a scorpion in a lollipop and ranked it a B tier. We made a Minecraft SMP, and then I snuck guns into the server and shot everybody. I just got embarrassed in front of 2,000 people by a Roblox kid. See, I was doing a live stream with Tim, and all of a sudden he says,
"Join me."
So I join his game and find myself face to face in a rap battle against Tim.
Yeah, you smell like potatoes. Yeah. You're a tomato. Oh, yeah, you look like the tomato man. All right, over there. Yes, son.
Here's the thing. I'm horrible at music, but I could.
Hey everybody, welcome back. And today's background is a little bit different. It's Rivals, so enjoy my amazing Rivals gameplay. Let's go! My first question is Roblox your favorite game? Yes, sir. I love Roblox. My next question is, what's your favorite game besides Roblox? Well, it has to be Minecraft. I love Minecraft. It's like one of my favorite games. So Roblox and Minecraft, they're the best. Well, next question is, Tim, will you play a game with Nick A30? And
Couldn't just not do it and let Tim down, so I tried to cook. This is my rap. You called me a tomato. I think you look like a potato. Huh? And just as I thought I was finally free from this embarrassment...
It's not over. It's not over.
Tim, you win, man!
Yeah, I'll cook you on a frying pan just like some eggs. Yeah. How's
Leave
that?
me alone, Tim!
How's that? Yeah, I'll squish you in my car over the pancakes.
Leave me alone! I just got embarrassed in front of 2,000 people by a Roblox kid. See, I was doing a live stream with Tim, and all of a sudden he says...
Join me.
So I join his game and find... This is hands down one of the most chaotic streams of... So I asked 5,000 of you guys to send me the weirdest Roblox games. And the first one was called Cart Riding into 17 Pregnant Hyenas. Huh? And it made my ears bleed. So I tried the next most requested game, the Helen Keller Experience. And after finding out she was someone who was deaf and blind, is this just gonna be a black screen? And while I completely lost faith in you guys, there was one game that kind of surprised me. Get a snack at 4 a.m. See, the goal of the game was to find some snacks and try to get all the endings. And
choke and die. Firstly, Yuji cannot just... Can Yuji get Gojo's power by eating the prison realm, or would he simply choke and die? Firstly, Yuji cannot just eat any cursed object and gain its power. Yes, Sukuna's fingers are special grade curse objects, but before that, they are a part of Sukuna's body, and the death paintings are literally Yuji's brothers, so they are meant to be absorbed by Yuji and gain their power. But let me remind you, before all of this, Kenjaku in Yuji's mom's body conceived Yuji and sealed a finger inside of him since birth to make him the perfect vessel for Sukuna. Yuji is built to handle all fingers, but if another person tries eating them, that meal would probably be their last, Megumi should have died as well. But let's be honest, plot armor was the reason Sukuna transferring to Megumi's body was a success. Now Yuji would probably choke to death after trying to devour Prison Realm. But if he tried really hard and chew it by using Black Flash with his teeth, then the Prison Realm would be digested along with a million pieces of Gojo traveling through Yuji's intestines. I think Kit Kat was the better ending for Gojo. Can Yuji get Gojo's power by eating the Prison Realm, or would he simply choke and die?
Okay. Frame perfect, chat. Wait, what? What? Okay, we got to dodge. Okay, when it goes red, it stops moving. Nice. Okay, so green cars move. Bro! We gotta be close! Yes! Oh my... Is this the ending that Dad dies? Finally, ending. This is Get a Snack at 4 a.m. A game that gives you a very simple task. Get a snack in the middle of the night. But let me tell you, this little adventure got so strange and weird. And the ending really caught me off guard. Wait, we are now... Okay, here we go. Is that Markiplier? Good one, bro. I'm going to laugh. Welcome back, Square Ahead. This is Get a Snack at 4 a.m. A game that gives you a very simple task. Get a snack in the middle of the night. But let me tell you, this is Get a Snack at 4 a.m. A game that gives you a very simple task. Get a snack in the middle of the night. But let me tell you, this little adventure got so strange and weird. And the ending really caught me off guard. Wait, we are now... Okay, here we go. Is that Markiplier? So I asked 5,000 of you guys to send me the weirdest Roblox games. And the first one was called Kart Riding into 17... Roblox has some really weird games, man. What'd I do? My lamps on fire! Huh? But today, I want to find the weirdest. So I made a community post on YouTube asking you guys to help me. And what I got sent are some games that are honestly absolutely... Oh! Press the middle. Okay. Okay, here we go. I died. Press the horn. Chat, we've already pressed the horn, guys. I'm not pressing the horn again. Okay, fine, chat. I'll press the horn again, man. After this hyena. Okay. I'm not pressing the horn again. Okay, let's just continue through this. Okay, we got another hyena. Why is it gulping on water, bro? Wait! No, don't fall off! Wait, slow down. Don't fall off. No! I'm not doing all... Did this give... Oh! What is gonna happen? Is that it? Does this give anything? It's trying to... You get to the end, and it's trying to make me pay Robux. It's trying to scam my money. Now, chat, get a snack at 4 a.m. Nah.
All right, guys. So today I was playing Roblox.
This little adventure got so strange and weird, and the ending really caught me off guard. Wait, we are now. Is done. We are going to try party.exe. Okay. Is that a... Actually? I'm gonna go...
Roblox when a notification popped up on my screen. And the message was there was a Jujutsu Shenanigans tournament going on in my Discord server. And guys, that's not even the craziest part, because I actually just got admin granted in Jujutsu Shenanigans, and because of that I can use any skill builder moveset in the entire game in any server I want. So I thought, how could I
secret OP moveset the devs added to the game? And my friend for me. Wait, what? He's asking me who is your favorite goober? Wait, huh? Is this a trick question? Okay, you know what, guys? I know for a fact if I say X Demon, I'm probably gonna get banned from this private server. Oh my god, I know if I said stud to them.
When Kalis missed the admin abuse, Armin did something insane at the end.
Let me know when you're ready to see the new cutscene. I'm ready. Let's do it. He's gonna show us the new cutscene. I've not seen it yet, so let's see what we got. Wait. Yo, W Animator. I like how they make little movies every week. Bro's sunburnt. Oh wait, no, he's just a brick wall. We need backup. He talked. Voice reveal. No way. Okay, they're voting away. Dude, this game's got lore, bro. It's got lore. W lore. Oh my god. Tung Tung is in an attack helicopter. What? So what happens now? Wait, that was awesome. Oh. He's gonna spawn. What the?
When Kalis missed the admin abuse, Armin did something insane at the end.
Let me know when you're ready to see.
That might be a bad answer since Stud is like my best friend. Okay, I'm gonna say Mango Pool. I feel like that's a good answer. He's pretty brain rot. So was my hater. I mean, look at this dumb little face right there. But please tell me that was a good answer. Oh god, he said, wait, was that the wrong answer? Oh god, I accept your answer. You may join the tournament. Wait, that was the right answer? Yo, say less, bet. But, okay, I just got kicked from the server. Okay, guys, I think he's setting up the tournament right now. But honestly, I was not expecting this. I feel like I might be able to actually sneak into my haters tournament and finally get revenge for my little brother, along with the show off and use that. And wait, yo, there! Alright, low-key, I need to pick to that subway station entrance right there. There is something inside of it that I need to go down there and use the moveset I plan to use without my biggest hater seeing it. So my plan also doesn't get ruined that way. Alright, but low-key, guys, in order to do that, I'm gonna need to bait one of these players to follow me down there when the tournament starts. Okay, I got this. Okay, but it looks like my hater has started talking. He said, welcome everyone to the X-Demon Hater Tournament! Why did he pull his shirt off again? Okay, but wait, is this actually a hater tournament? Everyone's saying, yeah! Yay, murderer, blood! Okay, that's crazy. That's actually insane. Alright, but my hater said the tournament is about to start. And he also said this tournament will be styled around Battle Royale. Last man standing wins. Wait, what? How's that gonna work? On the count of 3, everyone will disperse and start fighting, including myself. Wait, my own haters fighting in his tournament too? How's that fair? Bro literally has admin commands. He could cheat and keep the 10,000 Robux for himself. Okay, but wait, I think he's starting the countdown. 3, 2, 1, and okay, he said go. Okay, it started. The tournament has started. All right, I gotta dip. Guys, it's time to put my plan into action. I'm gonna quickly go ahead and switch to the OP moveset I plan on using to cheat inside of this tournament. All right, there we go. We've spawned in with it. Oh my god, this looks so sick, but just wait till you guys see the abilities. Oh, wait, hold on. I see someone next to the subway station. Okay, I need to bait them down here so I can actually show you guys this moveset I plan to use. Okay, and oh, yep, look at that. That person is following me, but this is actually the portal I need to protect, and I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and bait them.
YouTube Premium 提供零廣
Today we are playing Bomb Chip, where the goal is to avoid finding the bomb that's hidden under the chip.
And not only that, we are raising the stakes disgustingly.
Cuz that seems to be my role in this war.
Here's the story of the new kind of boogeyman, and he doesn't scare you with an heavy scream. He's the leader of a solid ghost boogie-woogie band, and he makes them play on. If it's boogie-woogie music, he's liable to appear. Look out! It's a boogie-woogie man. Hello! Good joke! Good joke! Hello, good joke!
Ew, what are you? Get out of my room.
Good joke?
Be gone. Ew.
Sukuna. Hello, good joke. Good joke. Hello, good joke.
Ew, what are you?
Cuz that seems to be my role in this war.
So I've never played slap battles before, right? I needed to get a professional. Tim, get in my game. Tim, get in my game. One of the greatest slap battle users of all time. And there was one person.
Gojo's having us do this stupid team bonding.
I thought this was a date.
Think that again and I'll put a nail in your head.
Noted. By the way, I actually had a crazy dream about you recently.
Oh yeah? About what?
Well, I was over at your place, and I was having a hard time figuring out which door led to your room and which door led to your bathroom. And so I just opened one, and,
What? What happened?
Don't answer that. For some reason, I sense danger.
Nothing. It was a totally kid-friendly dream.
Okay.
Welcome to Meat in Your Mouth Cafe, Tokyo's #1 gay place to eat. Oh, Yuji, you cheating on Megami or something?
No, because Megami and I aren't dating.
Sure you're not.
You some sort of regular here, Yuji?
Why would I be a regular at Tokyo's #1 gay cafe?
You want the regular double meat in your mouth special?
And the secret sauce.
Not a regular, huh?
They have good food here, okay?
I have a severe problem. I love the idea and challenge of rage games, but I actually hate raging. But luckily for me, I just figured out a way to cure myself. So I've gathered some of Roblox's most frustrating games, and if my heart rate gets over 90 BPM, my character will explode and reset my entire progress. Voice control obby. So how this works, chat, if I say a noise, I jump. Ah! I don't think you actually need to yell that much. We're gonna beat this. We're gonna beat this. Okay, we gotta stay calm. I feel like you have to have your mic so quiet to struggle on this. Yo. 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 Chicken Jackie. Flint and Steel. Wow. Wow. You okay, dude? Dude, I'm playing voice control obby. Okay, this is too easy. Lucky we had the checkpoint. Let's go. Let's go. No. Speed run. Here we go. Meow. 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 The speed run's real. No, no, no. Trust. Trust. Was my heart rate close? The next one's ball and axe. And we're gonna make it even harder by setting my heart rate limit to 85 BPM now. Yes? Yes? Okay, we're chilling. Born with an axe in my hand, chat. I was born with an axe in my hand. No. Slow, careful. Bomb. Yep. Great start.
How you doing?
Hey man.
Can't escape me.
I'm trying not to rage, man. Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna get your heart rate up.
Touch, please don't do that to me. Take our time. Chill, chill, chill. Chat, watch this. Yep. Let's go. Okay, we gotta stay calm. We gotta stay calm. Ooh, we gotta make sure we latch on good here. Boom. Boom.
Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Yuji was reborn with all of his memories? How strong would he become this time around? And most importantly, would he be able to save all of the friends he lost? So, as Yuji is reborn, the first thing he would see would be his family, grandfather, father, and mother. With sadness in his eyes, he'd grow up watching both of his parents eventually fade away, while knowing full well that he is an experiment made by Kenjaku. However, he would be too small to do anything at this time, so these events would play out the same. This time, he'd spend his childhood honing his body even further than before, running longer distances and doing strength training that would help him achieve his ultimate potential. Before long, Yuji would also try to channel his cursed energy, but wouldn't be able to do much on his own. You see, Yuji only truly unlocked his cursed energy potential when he ate one of Sukuna's fingers, so even with all of his memories, it's unlikely he would be able to unlock it earlier than that. From here, he'd attend school like a normal person, and just like his usual self, he wouldn't hesitate to show off his superhuman strength to his classmates. Each time he did something impossible, Yuji would just laugh it off and pretend he was blessed with good genes. This version of Yuji would also be much more mature compared to before, due to everything he experienced in his past life. Eventually, he joined the occult club again, but only so he could look for Sukuna's finger. Checking storage rooms and digging through old boxes, Yuji would actually find the finger way earlier than before. As months go by, Yuji would spend even more time with his grandpa at the hospital. He wouldn't bother telling him about his rebirth, and his only goal would be to spend as much time with him as possible. Eventually, when the time comes, his grandpa would give him the same speech as before, telling him to help others. After exiting the hospital, Yuji would immediately confront Megumi outside, which would catch him completely by surprise. However, before Megumi could do anything, Yuji would let him know that he already ate Sukuna's finger. Not knowing what the hell was going on, Megumi would attempt to fight, but Yuji would raise his hands and ask to be escorted to Tokyo Jujutsu High. Megumi would be completely stunned that some random teenager knows about all this. In order to persuade Megumi that he was on his side, Yuji would continue talking, explaining how he and Megumi were actually friends before and how he got sent back in the past. Still skeptical about everything, Megumi would keep his guard up and decide to question Yuji about what exactly he knew. But this is where Yuji would make one big mistake. You see, without hesitation, Yuji would name all the other students in Tokyo High. And just imagine this from Megumi's perspective. A random guy appears and starts naming all of your secret comrades that nobody should know about. Of course, you would think he is a villain. So without wasting any time, Megumi would immediately teleport behind Yuji and knock him out. Confused, Yuji would soon wake up again right in front of Gojo. Now, before I explain what would happen next and all the crazy things Yuji would do in this scenario, I want to tell you guys about Blue Protocol Stun, or simply you can claim turning players. Filled with also coming, there are ends. Decorate your in honest description and content determined to hide, Yuji would be forced to deal with some of Gojo's weaker attacks. He would do pretty well at this and would even counter one of Gojo's punches with a black flash, which would make the entire room shake. Impressed by Yuji's skill, Gojo would finally decide to hear him out. It's here that Yuji would explain everything to Gojo. He would start by telling him how he was reborn with all of his memories and knows exactly what will happen in the future. He'd also immediately tell Gojo everything about Kenjaku, Sukuna, and his birth. Although Gojo is usually the calm one, all of this information would even take him off guard, and he would decide to take a closer look at Yuji using Six Eyes. Confirming that Yuji actually ate Sukuna's finger and isn't lying about that, he'd eventually decide to trust the boy. At least, for now. Together, Yuji and Gojo would then agree that it'd be best if Yuji were to enroll in Jujutsu High all over again in order to continue sharing intel on future events. Next, Gojo would introduce Yuji to the school's principal, Yaga, and this time, Yuji would easily destroy his cursed dolls without even breaking a sweat. The next day, Gojo, Megumi, and Yuji would visit Nobara like they were supposed to, and the events of that arc would play out pretty much the same. However, around a month later, Yuji would face one of his toughest challenges so far. You see, at this time, the first years went on a mission to evacuate the detention center, and it's here that Yuji was forced to form a pact with Sukuna in order to survive. To avoid that scenario from playing out again, Yuji spent the entire month prior preparing himself and honing his cursed energy so he wouldn't need Sukuna's help. With the memories from his past life, along with the special training from Gojo, this version of Yuji would be much stronger than he was in the original story. Now, the special grade curse they encountered in the detention center was definitely super strong, but still, with all of Yuji's knowledge and abilities, I think he'd eventually be able to exorcise it without Sukuna's help. After eating the finger he extracted from the curse, he'd find himself in his mind's inner chamber, face to face with the King of Curses. As usual, Sukuna would immediately demand that Yuji set him free, but would be surprised when Yuji flat out refuses. Sensing that Yuji seems familiar somehow, Sukuna would access Yuji's memories and immediately realize what was happening. Remember, even in the main story, Sukuna was able to access Yuji's memories and thoughts to some extent. So I think it's safe to say that he would immediately figure out what's going on this time. Aware of his rebirth, Sukuna would scoff at Yuji and order him again to let him out, or he'd do it himself sooner or later. Yuji would confidently smirk at the villain and promise Sukuna that there's no way he'd ever be allowed to be free. Being shook back into reality by Megumi the next morning, Yuji would realize he was already back at the school. Shortly after, he would get visited by Gojo, who would mention how Yuji's actions at the detention center raised the higher-ups' suspicion. However, since he never cared about higher-ups anyway, Gojo would just tell Yuji that he'll handle it and not to worry about it. Gojo would also ask Yuji if he ate another finger, since he had more cursed energy stored up inside him than before. Yuji would explain how it's best to let him handle the fingers like that so they wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. Although concerned, Gojo would understand but also warn him about the possibility of accidentally manifesting Sukuna by eating too many fingers. Before taking his leave, Yuji would warn Gojo about Jogo, telling him about their battle beforehand and asking Gojo to bring him to the battlefield once the fight starts. Now, it's important to mention that in this timeline, Yuji would attempt to talk to other cursed spirits and reason with them instead of just fighting every time. Having all of his memories from before, Yuji would know that not all cursed spirits are bad, so he would want to try to talk to them first and persuade them not to hurt humans. Soon, Gojo would take him straight to Jogo, where he'd ask the curse to set aside his pride and listen. Yuji would then tell Jogo everything he knows. He would also tell him how Sukuna might kill him in the future, which would leave Jogo confused. Yuji would then explain how Kenjaku can't be trusted and how he is going to betray Jogo in the end. Jogo would listen to this very carefully, but ultimately, it would all be in vain, because as soon as Yuji finishes talking, Jogo would rush at him. However, before the attack could even reach Yuji, Gojo would expand his domain and stop Jogo in his tracks. As Gojo thinks about what to do with him, Hanami would suddenly ambush the sorcerers. But of course, Yuji told Gojo about this, so instead of saving his friend, Hanami would fall right into the sorcerer's trap. Anticipating the attack, both Yuji and Gojo would quickly dodge, and with one combined attack, they would bring the cursed spirit down. Okay, this fight went completely differently this time around, and the best part is that Hanami and Jogo wouldn't be available to help Kenjaku during Shibuya. Anyway, instead of killing the curses right away, Yuji would ask Gojo to bring them into custody since he thinks there's still a chance for them to turn their lives around. Once they are back at school, Yuji would tell Gojo how Mahito and Kenjaku are probably planning to attack the Goodwill event. He'd basically lay out their entire plan in detail. After hearing about this, Gojo would leave for a bit, doing his own investigation about Kenjaku in the background. Once every few days, Yuji would pay the imprisoned spirits a visit. He wouldn't give up on trying to convince Hanami and Jogo to consider giving the humans a chance, telling them that they can all live together in peace. He would spend a lot of time on this, but it would ultimately be in vain as both of them would be too stubborn to change sides. A month would pass by, and Gojo would decide to send Yuji and Nanami on a mission to a movie theater, same as in the original story. Although this was just some random mission for Yuji in the main story, this time the mission would be special to him as this would be his chance to save Junpei. So during the mission, things would go mostly the same, with Yuji pretending to be clueless and hiding his true strength. This time, Yuji would see Mahito paying Junpei a visit in the cinema and follow the kid back to his house. After Junpei got home and went to bed, Yuji would hide nearby, vowing to protect him and his mom this time around. Eventually, he'd spot a cursed spirit heading toward the house. Before it could even enter the building, Yuji would exorcise it with a single black flash punch. He'd also eat the Sukuna's finger that Mahito planted, making sure no more curses came to hurt Junpei. So yeah, Junpei would actually survive in this timeline and would become a good friend of Yuji. The next morning, Junpei would come clean about Mahito's offer while claiming that he never wanted to kill other people. Yuji would obviously believe him and would ask him to join Tokyo Jujutsu High so they could be classmates. He would explain how this is the best thing to do since he would be much safer among other sorcerers and would also learn how to defend himself. Junpei would, of course, accept. But you didn't think Yuji would stop Mahito's plan that easily, did you? You see, on their way back to the school, the pair would come face to face with Mahito, who would be completely confused as to why his plan didn't work. Seeing Yuji, he would deduce that Yuji must be the one who took the finger and would instantly launch an attack at him. As they were fighting, Yuji would try to talk to Mahito and reason with him, same as he tried with other curses. However, this obviously wouldn't work since, well, it's Mahito. Enraged by Yuji's attitude, Mahito would begin to go all out before Nanami interrupts him with a surprise attack. Considering that Junpei was still around, Yuji would tell Nanami that it's best to retreat for now, as fighting Mahito here could be dangerous for everyone. Nanami would agree, and the sorcerers would quickly retreat back to the school. There, after submitting a mission report to the higher-ups, Junpei would enroll into the school. Sometime after, Yuji, Gojo, and the others would start preparing for the Goodwill event, knowing that Kenjaku would likely try to attack the students. From there, the Kyoto Goodwill event would go mostly the same. As predicted, a coordinated attack from the curses would disrupt the event, but this time, it'd be nowhere near as bad as it was in the original timeline. Instead, all of the attackers would be dealt with a lot sooner thanks to the teachers being on high alert. Although, despite the preparations, some of Kenjaku's goons would still end up rescuing the cursed spirits Jogo and Hanami. However, their escape would get cut short by Gojo. Gojo would then use his domain to exorcise both curses at the same time, as they are simply too dangerous to leave alive. So, despite all of Yuji's efforts, Jogo and Hanami would die in this timeline as well, as he simply couldn't convince them to change sides. Yuji wouldn't be particularly active during this arc since Gojo and the other teachers would have everything under control. Instead, he would spend his time thinking about the Shibuya incident and trying to come up with a way to save everyone this time around. But is that even possible? Well, before we answer that, the news of the Goodwill event incident would spread, and the students would be told to prepare for an all-out war. One thing that still ended up happening in this timeline is Kenjaku stealing some cursed objects and death womb paintings from Jujutsu High. Yuji knew this was the only way he could see his brothers again, so he didn't inform Gojo or the others about it. Anyways, a few days later, Yuji would be sent on a mission to investigate the bridge victims. He decided to let things play out normally until they come face to face with his brothers, Kejizu and Eso. Even though they'd fight for a bit, this stronger and wiser version of Yuji would decide to hold back a lot and would eventually find a way to trap them. Yuji would then try to explain how they are actually brothers and that Kenjaku is the real enemy. Both Kejizu and Eso would immediately start laughing and ask Yuji what kind of trick is he trying to pull. Meanwhile, Nobara would also start questioning what Yuji is doing and would ask him whose side he's even on. In order to gain his brother's trust, Yuji would apologize to Nobara and then proceed to instantly knock her out. Confused about what the heck happened, Eso and Kachizu would decide to hear Yuji out further. This is when he'd explain everything to them. He'd explain how he was born, everything about Kenjaku, the death paintings, and how Eso and Kachizu were the closest thing he had to blood relatives. After hearing all of this, the death paintings would feel something deep inside them. They would know that Yuji wasn't lying, but would also be confused at the same time. This is when both of them would decide to flee in order to regroup with Chozo and figure out what was going on. Before they leave, Yuji would yell at them to meet him in a couple of days near Jujutsu High. A day later, the first-year trio would meet up with Gojo together. Nobara would instantly complain to Gojo about Yuji and how he called some monsters brothers. Gojo, already knowing about Yuji's birth and death paintings, would just tell Nobara that he'll take care of it. Before we move on to the next arc, one thing I want to mention is that this time around, Yuji would tell Gojo that Kokichi is the one who betrayed Jujutsu High by giving Kenjaku information. Yuji would then explain how Kokichi isn't really a bad guy and would ask Gojo to lock him up until Kenjaku is dealt with. Gojo would do exactly this, which means that Kokichi would survive this time around. After that, Yuji would spend the next few days keeping watch around Tokyo High, hoping that Chozo and his brothers would arrive. And after almost a week, it would finally happen. Happy to see Chozo again, Yuji would greet his brother, but Chozo would tell him to back off. Still not convinced Yuji was telling the truth. However, after speaking to him in person, Chozo would get the same memory of Yuji he did in the main timeline. He'd instantly feel the brotherly bond between them and would hug his brother, along with Eso and Kajizu. It's here that Yuji would finally ask the brothers to betray Kenjaku and join his side. The brothers would argue at first, telling Yuji that there is no way they can work together with other humans, but Yuji would remind them that they are half human. After hearing this, Chozo and the others would shake hands with Yuji, promising to stop Kenjaku together. This is when Chozo would inform Yuji of Kenjaku's plan to imprison Gojo, but Yuji would obviously already know this. Yuji would then ask his brothers to play along with Kenjaku's plans, but eventually sabotage them when the time is right. The brothers would agree to this, and they'd soon part ways, promising to meet each other again. Soon enough, the night of the Shibuya incident would arrive, and the barrier would spread over the city. Despite the lack of manpower, Kenjaku and Mahito decided it was best to go forward with the plan using the help of other powerful cursed spirits and freelance sorcerers. Same as in the original, Gojo would be the first one on the scene. He would crash into the domain like it's nothing, while Yuji would be stationed outside the barrier with Nanami's team. Inside, Gojo would make a beeline toward the lower levels of the station in order to look for the barrier caster. There, he would find Chozo and his brothers waiting for him. Gojo would pretend to chase them for a while until they arrive in the dark tunnel where they can talk without anyone listening in. Of course, Gojo would know that these guys are on his side now after Yuji explained the situation. The curse paintings would then share the whereabouts of the barrier caster as well as intel on Mahito and Geto's movements. Chozo would even go so far as to thank Gojo for taking care of his younger brother. With a smile, Gojo would part ways with the brothers, thanking them for the information. Using Limitless, Gojo would effortlessly make his way to the Grasshopper Curse, defeating it easily and lifting the barrier way earlier than in the original story. Once it's lifted, Yuji and the others would enter the station in order to assist with the mission. Knowing Mahito's plan in advance, Gojo would arrive at his location much earlier and engage him in battle. Now, you may think Gojo would defeat Mahito very easily, but that's not really the case. You see, despite being much stronger than Mahito, Gojo would also have to deal with a bunch of transfigured humans at the same time, which would make this battle a lot tougher for him. Anyway, while Gojo is busy on the other side of the station, Yuji would suddenly get knocked out by someone from behind. Waking up sometime later, Yuji would find himself tied up by Kenjaku inside an abandoned subway cart. Kenjaku would then tell Yuji he had a feeling the kid knew way too much. It's almost as if Yuji was predicting all of his movements somehow. This is why Kenjaku changed his original plan in order to catch the kid. After mocking Yuji for a bit, Kenjaku would forcibly open his mouth and shove a bunch of Sukuna's fingers straight in. He'd then begin to laugh and state how he'd been wanting to revive the King of Curses this entire time. Forced to swallow so many fingers at once, Yuji would be overwhelmed and everything would fade to black. Kenjaku would start monologuing to Yuji about how once Sukuna regains his senses, the world would be thrown into chaos that would fuel the Great Merger, which was his plan all along. Meanwhile, on a different floor, Gojo would still struggle dealing with Mahito since Dagon would also come to give him an assist. Having a ton of people blocking his path, Gojo would be forced to go all out and use his domain expansion to finally bring them down. Although this would kill some innocent people in the process, Gojo would deem it necessary and would soon eliminate both Dagon and Mahito for good. However, suddenly, An eruption would catch Gojo's attention as intense flames shoot out all the way to the sky. Immediately after, a domain would open up and scorch everything nearby. Narrowly escaping death, a charred Kenjaku would appear, laughing hysterically.